Here you see the essential parts of any C program. Now I am going to paste something. You see here I have pasted these things have been pasted. These are not new. If you have seen previous program, then you will understand that these parts are only for to take the size of an array and to take the data for the array elements. Okay, now in this video we will learn how to sort the elements of an array. What does this sorting means? Sorting means, suppose you have an array containing the elements 3 2 1 or 3 1 2. Suppose it is 3 1 2. So sorting means you have to make it either in the array ascending order or in the descending order. This means that you have to make it 1 2 3 or 3 2 1 using a C program. In this video we will sort the array elements using the technique of bubble sort. In bubble sort we swap the adjacent element of an array in each run, and for this sorting we will use the nested loops. Nested loops means whenever you use a loop inside the other loop, it is called nested loops. So as I said, nested loop means there will be two loops, one after other, and the other loop will be under the influence of the first one. So here I take I equals to 0. Here this for this for loop the index is I, and you know I will be less than n, and I will be incremented after each run. And here I have just typed a pair of curly brackets, open and closed. Whatever you write, whatever you type in between these two curly brackets will be under the influence of this keyword, this for loop. So as I said, I will use the nested for loop. So I again type one more for loop, but this time the index will be j. The index, the variable for the index is j, and again this will start from 0 because index starts from 0, and j will be less than n, and here j will be incremented by 1. Now I again use a pair of curly brackets, and whatever you write in between these two curly brackets will be under the influence of this for loop. This means that this whole thing, if you consider this whole thing, so you must know that this whole thing is under the influence of this for loop, the outer for loop. Now in the body of inner for loop I type one more keyword, that is if. If aj is greater than aj plus 1, you know two adjacent array elements are separated by 1 in reference to index number. So here if there is one element aj, then its adjacent next element will be aj plus 1. Accordingly I have written the condition. This is the condition. This means that in between two adjacent elements of an array, if the first one is greater than the later element, then only then we will swap. You know, for swapping we take two data. So here obviously there are two data named aj and aj plus 1, and this swapping is going to be under the influence of the keyword if. So there will be one more pair of curly brackets, and whatever you write in between these two curly brackets, this will be called under the influence of the keyword if. So here you should understand that if the if keyword is under the influence of inner for loop, and inner for loop is the is under the influence of outer for loop. And to swap we take temp. If you have not seen, if you do not understand what does this swapping mean, then I have already uploaded a video on swapping. You can see that video first and thereafter you should see this video. So in temp we store the value of first variable, that is aj, and thereafter in aj I store the value of the next element, that is aj plus 1, and thereafter in aj plus 1 we store the value of the temp, because the temp variable contains the value of the element aj. So here will be temp. Okay, to understand this part, to understand this if part, the swapping part, let us understand this separately. First see here, first j is 0, so 0 means here will be a0 greater than a1. If you put j equals to 0, here will be a0 and here will be a1, so this means that a0 is greater than a1. So see here, obviously here you see 0 and 1. So here first you see, here initially j is 0, so here will be 0, this means that a0, and here also j will be 0, this means that a1. So a0 a1, if you see for j equals to 0, I am going to work corresponding to j equals to 0. So j equals to 0 will lead us to a0 and a1, that is the first element and the second element of the array. And and you see here the condition is satisfied. It says that this whole part says that a0 is greater than a1. Obviously it is 2, because a0 means 2, a1 means 1, the second element. Obviously 2 is greater than 1, so these two will be swapped. And swapping, after swapping, here will be 1 and here will be 2. So I have completed the work for j equals to 0. Here you see I equals to 0, because the outer for loop there is one more for loop outside of the inner for loop, and for that for loop I show you. Here is the outer for loop. You see, for this I starts from 0, so I start from 0. You see obvious clearly here I equals to 0. So for I equals to 0 there will be a complete run, j equals to 0, j equals to 1, j equals to 2, j equals to 3. Thereafter I will be 1. You see, I will be 1. Again j will start from 0, thereafter it will be 1, j will be 2, thereafter at the last j will be 3. In this way I will go up to 3. because you know here the array we have taken an example, and this according to this example the array size is 4, so the maximum index will be 3 because you know the index starts from 0. So here you can observe that obviously there are 4 indexes: j equals to 0, j equals to 1, j equals to 2, j equals to 3 in all. Now I have made one swap earlier, you see in this video. So corresponding to this j equals to 0, now it comes j equals to, after one run it comes j equals to 1. Here you see j equals to 1 because here you see j plus plus means j will increase after each run. Initially it was 0, so now it will be 1, so here will be a1. If you put the value of j1 here, then here will be a1 and here will be a2. So the condition says that a1 is greater than a2. We have done work for this 1 2. Now it is time to do the work for 2 4. So the condition is, here is a1 is 2 and a2 is 4. The condition is a1 is greater than a2. You see that a1 is not greater than a2 because 2 is smaller than 4. So there is no need to swap. So there will be no swapping corresponding to j equals to 1 because it is okay. 2 is greater than 4. Now I am going to make it bold because we have done the work corresponding to j equals to 1. There is no need to swap. So now the time comes for the next value of j because j will be incremented after each run. Now j will be 2. J will be now 2. So corresponding to this we have to work j equals to 2, and you know if you put j equals to 2 here then it will be a2 and it will be a3. So it says that a2 is greater than a3. So a2 means 4, a3 means 3. Obviously 4 is greater than 3, so the condition is true. This condition is true. a2 is greater than a3, so the swapping will be done. So this part of the inner for loop, or you may say precisely the body of the if keyword, will be executed. The swapping will be done, and if you swap then this will be 3 and this will be 4. You see, so this part is complete. This part is complete. Okay, so I am going to make it bold and green. Now you see that when I take j equals to 2, then we arrived at the end of the array. There was no need to take j equals to 3. Accordingly, here there is no need to use j equals to 3. As you take j equals to 2, you went at the end of the array. So there will be only 3 run. That means run will be the size minus 1. Size is 4, run is 3, so 4 minus 1 is 3. So here I have to modify this. Here I have to minus 1. After each run, and one more thing you should observe that this this running is complete. At the end of one complete run, you see the 4 is at the right place. You can say that no, all the elements are at its right places, at their right places, but it is not correct. If you take some other example, then you will see in all the last element will be at the correct place. So for the next run, we do not disturb this last element. This means that now we work for the first three elements. This means that the array size minus 1. So after each complete run, the array size gets reduced. So here accordingly I have to take minus I. So here will be n minus 1 minus I. Okay, now we have, so thereafter I will be 1, and again the loop will run. You see the array is already sorted, but in all case you will not get the a sorted array in one run. You have to run it many times. So you can understand this thing using some other example at the place of these four, that these four runs corresponding to I equals to 0, I equals to 1, I equals to 2 will be necessary to sort an array. I equals to 3 is not needed because you know at a time you take two elements. If you keep all these four, I equals to 0, I equals to 1, I equals to 2, I equals to 3, even then you will get the sorted array. Now let us run this program. Before running, you know, we want to see the output, where our output is coming correct or not. For that, to see the output, we use the printf function. So here I type I copy this part and I am pasting that part here. And but you see in this there is printf function, but to show the result we use sorry, earlier it was a scanf function. Now I have retyped it as printf function because we want to see the result, and here will be simply ai, and to see the result at a tab distance we use \t, and here we can type one more printf function to show the user the message what type of this output is. The sorted array elements are backslash uh, n. Now let us run this program. Okay, it is saying enter for the size. Enter the size. Here you see it says enter the size. So I place 4 here, and thereafter I pressed the key enter. Now it is asking for the array elements. So randomly I put 4 numbers: 77, 6, 5, 90. You see, you see, this is the output. This is the output, and you see the numbers are in ascending order. So our array elements are sorted. Though, so our program is working well. I am going to show you the complete program once again. This is the complete program. Here is the upper half of this program, and here is the lower half of this program. If you have any doubt regarding any step of this program, you can ask by typing a comment in the comment box of this video. Okay.